Sagittarius urgent double exclamation mark. Your Father in heaven has a message of protection for you. Sagittarius, you are so lucky to have arrived at just the right moment. Take a few seconds to feel it. There is something surrounding you right now. A subtle yet distinct energy, as if someone is calling your name in a familiar voice, a voice that does not come from this world. Today, I don't just bring you a message. This is an urgent calling. A message that pierces through the clouds, overcomes every material boundary, and touches your soul with all the love it carries. It is a whisper from your Father, the one who is now in a place of absolute peace, where pain no longer exists, where time no longer has any hold. He has seen what you are going through. He knows every step you've taken, every moment you endured in silence, every night you prayed without words. And now, your Father is finding a way to draw near. To tell you this. You are not alone. You have never been forgotten. A shield is being woven from eternal love to surround and protect you. A plan is unfolding, and all you need to do is open your heart to receive it. Before we go on, I invite you to repeat these words, either aloud or in your mind. This is the key to unlocking the sacred connection between your soul and your Heavenly Father. I receive the love and protection of my Heavenly Father, trusting in the path that is opening ahead of me. Let these words echo in your heart. Let them open the doorway between the visible world and the invisible realm. Because from this moment on, you will never walk alone again. Sagittarius, if today you feel like something unusual is happening, it's not your imagination. Everything is truly shifting. A door has just opened, not in front of your eyes, but within your heart. It's not a coincidence. It's a calling. And that calling doesn't come from just anyone, but from your Father, the one who has stepped into the next world, yet has never stopped watching over you, not even for a moment. Today, you are not listening to this by accident. Today is the day you are being reminded of something your soul has known for a long time. You are protected. You are loved. And you are being called to awaken. The first card that appears is Judgment, a card that is often misunderstood. Many people see it and think of punishment, fear, or consequences. But no, for you, for Sagittarius, this card is a calling from heaven. It is the trumpet that awakens the parts of you that have been silent for too long. It is the moment you are pulled out of the fog, to see yourself truthfully, courageously, and in full light. Your Father, who once held you in his arms when you were a child, is now embracing you in a higher form, not with hands, but with a presence that surrounds you from the invisible realm. He wants you to know. You don't have to keep living as the outdated version of yourself. You've grown. You've learned enough. It's time to be reborn. Have you felt recently that you're living a life that no longer aligns with your soul? That you're holding on to things that tire you, just because they're familiar? If so, then Judgment is not here to scold you, but to remind you. Change is not failure. It is a sacred transition so you can become a truer version of yourself. Then comes the next card, the Ace of Swords, a card that shows a shining sword, like a flash of lightning cutting through the dark. This is the symbol of truth, of spiritual strength, of clear discernment between what is right and what is false. On your journey, your Father has seen that there is a situation, or a person, that has been leaving you confused. It might be a vague relationship. It might be sweet words hiding deception. Or it might even be that negative voice inside your head, making you question your worth. From heaven, your Father is reaching out, offering you this sword, not to attack, but to cut through every invisible chain that has blurred your vision. You can feel your hand trembling slightly as you touch it, not from fear, but because you know, this is not just a symbolic object. It is true power, born from the truth you've been avoiding for so long. That sword is your intuition. It is the wisdom you've always had, only buried beneath the noise of life. And once you dare to listen to your inner truth, you will no longer be so easily manipulated by those who seek to control your emotions or your heart. Are you in a situation where you're not sure who is sincere and who is using you? Take a moment. Close your eyes. And ask yourself, does this person make me feel clarity or exhaustion? Intuition never lies. And today, you are given permission to trust it completely. But you know, not every battle requires immediate action. That's why the third card appears, the Four of Swords. The card of rest. The card of pause. The card of healing in stillness. Your Heavenly Father knows you've been strong for too long. You've always tried to understand others, to do the right thing, to stay humble. But deep inside, you are tired too. And no one can keep running forever without stopping. The Four of Swords is an invitation. Step back. Turn down the noise. Create a space where you can take a deep breath, not needing to explain. Not needing to pretend to be strong. Sometimes, miracles don't come through action. They come when you dare to be still. That's when heaven can finally reach you. Are you allowing yourself to rest? Or are you afraid that if you stop, everything will collapse? Remember, you are not carrying the entire world. And if you break, who will continue your journey? Pausing is not giving up. It is an act of self-love. Today, try giving yourself 10 minutes to be alone. No social media. No noise. Just you and your soul. And if you are quiet enough, imagine your father sitting beside you. Saying nothing, just placing a hand on your shoulder. Just like he used to do when you were a child. Whenever you were sad but didn't need to say a word. And if you wish, close your eyes. And whisper these words. I don't need to keep running. I am allowed to stop. I am ready to be healed. Let your father hear those words. Because in heaven, he has always been waiting for the moment you allow yourself to soften. So that love can seep into every wound. And now, I want to ask you. Has a part of you, deep and quiet, just been touched? If so, share what you feel in the comments below. Even just one sentence. That is how you strengthen this spiritual connection, and how we begin to create a community that heals together. Sagittarius, if you've been feeling like old memories have been resurfacing lately. Images you thought had long fallen asleep in your mind. Emotions you believed you had moved past, then know this is not by chance. Something from the past is knocking, not to hurt you, but to heal you. And today's first card, the Six of Cups, is that very door. A memory. A person. A place within your soul that time could never erase. But this time, when it returns, it does not come with tears. It comes with forgiveness. Your Father in heaven, with eyes that see through every layer of your soul, is inviting you to step back into a place you once closed off, your childhood. A family relationship full of pain. Are the version of yourself that was young and insecure. He wants you to know. No one was born perfect. And true love begins when we dare to forgive, not only others, but also ourselves. If someone in your family, perhaps your biological father or a close relative, ever made you feel abandoned, hurt, or judged, then today. The message from heaven is not, just forget it. It's, free yourself from that weight. Because forgiveness doesn't mean denying what happened. It means ending the past's control over your present. Have you ever felt you weren't good enough, simply because of what happened in your younger years? Are you still trying to prove your strength to the world, while inside all you've ever wanted was a hug, some acceptance, or simply to hear, I'm proud of you? If so, let that message be spoken now. Because in the heavenly realm, your Father is whispering it to you, and freedom is waiting. The moment you begin to forgive, the moment you begin to loosen the ties around yourself, the Eight of Wands appears. This is the card of speed, movement, unexpected good news. When you release those old emotional wrappings, you open a new current of energy, and like a river once blocked, now set free, everything begins to move faster than you imagined. Information, invitations, opportunities, the things you've long been waiting for, are on their way to you. More importantly, they come as rewards from the universe, in return for the years you quietly sowed love, kindness, and sacrifice. Do you remember those times you helped others, but no one knew? The times you stayed silent to keep peace? The good you gave that no one acknowledged? Your Father in heaven saw it all. And He will never let anything born from love go to waste. So don't be surprised if in the coming days, you receive an unexpected message. An invitation to collaborate. A door opens just when you've let go of something that was holding you back. The Eight of Wands is not only a sign of opportunity, it is confirmation that you are on the right path. And moving faster than you realize. Let your heart open like outstretched arms. Let faith return, not as blind illusion, but as trust in yourself, in your Father's divine guidance, and in the law of sacred return. And then, as if to balance that optimism, the moon appears. A beautiful card, but also one full of complexity. Because its light is not clear. It does not shine like the sun. It flickers. It's hazy. And that might be exactly how you're feeling now, a sense that something unclear is going on, but you can't quite name it yet. It might be a relationship that feels uneasy, but you're afraid to ask directly. It might be a situation at work where your intuition is screaming, "This isn't right." But your logic says, "Just keep going." Or more deeply, it might be the fear of being hurt again, that keeps you from believing anything good could truly be real. The moon doesn't come to scare you. It comes to remind you not to lose your discernment. Maybe the person you trust isn't telling the whole truth. Maybe it's you, building stories in your head that are causing unnecessary panic. What matters is this. You must return to your intuition. And this is the gift your Father in heaven offers. You don't need to understand everything right now. You just need to listen to yourself. Because truth, no matter how long it's hidden, will eventually be revealed. The light will come. But before that happens, you must learn to walk in darkness without losing your way. Are you feeling that someone is not being genuine with you, but you have no proof? Are you overwhelmed because everything feels unclear, and you're afraid of making the wrong decision? Try writing this down. I don't need certainty about everything. I only need to be honest with myself. Then you will see, it is in that very acceptance of the unknown. That light begins to flicker back in. Before closing this section, I want to ask you. Is there something from your past that you still haven't forgiven, not because you're stubborn, but because you didn't know how? Is there something you've been longing to come quickly, but deep down, you're afraid to receive it? And, have you ever walked under the moonlight, forgetting that you are your own source of light? Share your emotions or reflections below. It's not just a way to connect with yourself. It is also a message to your Father in heaven, that you are listening. You are healing. You are transforming. Sagittarius, do you remember? There was a time when you believed that if you just tried hard enough, everything would be okay. That if you were good enough, kind enough, selfless enough, life would smile at you. But then, time passed. And you realized, kindness is not always returned. Love given does not always come back. And so, you began to hold back. You gave a little less. Believed a little less. Hoped a little less. But today, the star appears, not to demand blind faith, but to remind you that faith never dies. It only falls asleep when we are tired. And now, it's time to wake it up. Your Father, who has quietly watched your difficult journey, has always known what you've never spoken to anyone. He knows how you've smiled even with a broken heart. How you've kept the house in order so no one could see the emptiness inside. How you've stood alone on the balcony, at night, just to breathe. Just to whisper to yourself, I'm okay. And that's why today, he sends you the star. The card of hope. Of pure faith. Of light that still exists, even when you can't see it. Did you ever wish for something as a child? Is there a dream you gave up on, thinking it was too late, too far away? Know this, nothing is ever too late when heaven is still holding that light for you. And if you've been needing a sign to believe that you deserve happiness, this is it. Right after the star, the Nine of Pentacles appears as a clear affirmation. You've come farther than you thought. You are stronger than you've believed. And you are more deserving than you ever allowed yourself to admit. The Nine of Pentacles is not about quick riches. It is inner stability. It is the moment you look back and say, I didn't fall. I made it through. And now, the rewards are beginning to come, not loud. Not rushed, but ripened. Like autumn after a long, enduring year. Your Father from heaven has not only been watching you. He is proud of you. Not because you achieved something grand. But because you kept your integrity. You kept your kindness. You kept your heart from turning cold, even when life was unbearably harsh. He saw how you sacrificed your own dreams for others. He knew the times you saved things for your family, even when you had little for yourself. He saw your quiet strength, not on stage, but in the kitchen, at the desk, beside the empty bed, and in the hundreds of small, unseen moments. And now, the universe is sending you your reward. But this reward isn't coming from the outside. It comes from within. You are the greatest treasure you've ever been searching for. Do you feel like you no longer need anyone's validation? That fulfillment doesn't come from your bank account, but from the knowledge that you can stand on your own 2 feet? If so, then you are standing at the door of the Nine of Pentacles. And you know what? Your Father is standing just beyond that door, waiting for you to open it. Because right now, the door of destiny appears. An ancient doorway, symbolizing something that belongs to you, but that you've never dared to claim. It might be a spiritual gift. A purpose that's about to unfold. A deep love. An opportunity you once dreamed of, but always thought was meant for someone else, not for you. No, that's not true. Your Father, with the wise eyes of a soul who sees all, is whispering. That is yours. It always has been. You only need to step through. And that door is opening. It is not as dazzling as stage lights. Not as loud as applause. It comes in the quiet of early morning. In a nod from a stranger. In a letter, a handshake, a glance that suddenly makes you feel safe. And in that moment, you will know, you are in the right place. Have you ever dreamed of a different life, but always placed it behind you, giving way to responsibility? Have you ever thought you'd never get to live fully with your passion? With the voice that calls only to you? If so, then today, the question is, will you dare to walk through that door, now that it's open? You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to take one step. And before we close this part, I want you to pause for a moment, gently, and ask yourself, is there something I gave up on, just because I thought I didn't deserve it? Is there a gift I've been refusing, simply because I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on to it? And do I dare believe that my Father, wherever he may be, is silently guiding me toward what is most good for me? If something inside your heart stirred as you read those questions, write down your reflection below. Just one line is enough. That is how you say, I heard it, Father, and I'm moving forward. Sagittarius, have you ever walked past a familiar corner in your house? Seen an old item, a jacket, or even just a half-finished cup of tea, and felt your heart sink? Because you missed someone who used to be there. Not needing to say much. Not needing to do anything grand. But whose presence made you feel safe, sheltered, and truly yourself. And if there is one image your soul never forgets, it is this: a father. Not everyone grows up with a gentle father. Some fathers are stern. Some are quiet. Some are awkward at showing emotion. But what time always helps us see is this: they loved us in their own way, silent, steady, and without asking for anything in return. Today, the Knight of Cups appears, not as a stranger, but as the soul of a loved one approaching, carrying a cup filled with love that has waited far too long for you. It is the apology that was never spoken. The hug your childhood yearned for. The proud gaze your father held back because he didn't know how to say it in words. His soul has not come to teach you anything, but to accompany you, protect you, and gently place his hand on your shoulder, saying, "You are still my child. And you have never disappointed me." Do you remember the afternoons when your father rolled his bicycle out to the front gate? His back bent with exhaustion, but still turned and said, "I'm going to work, what should I bring home for you later?" Or the evenings when he sat outside, the streetlight casting a dim glow through the window, as you did your homework and he simply stayed quiet, and no one saw that he fell asleep on the chair? That image has not disappeared. It has only shifted into another layer of reality. And today, when you feel yourself about to fall again, your father, somehow, shows up. Not loudly. Not forcefully. Just present. The Three of Wands follows right after, the card of vision, of new horizons, of a distant calling. Sagittarius, have you lately been thinking, maybe it's time I start again? Have you felt that a part of you still longs for something, even though you've made it halfway through life? No one dares to name it, but you know it well. Your soul has never belonged to standing still. You were born to expand, to soar, to live fully, to go beyond what anyone else dares to imagine. And your father knows that. He always has. Even if he never said it, he understood, you are not like the others. You cannot live just to repeat yesterday. You have a vast spirit. And today, the Three of Wands arrives as a message. You are ready to continue. Your father went ahead, not to leave you, but to prepare the path. To lead you to where you belong. He still stands there, at the edge of new lands, waving to you with eyes full of light. He doesn't need you to succeed. He only wants you to live true, live fully, live as yourself. Are you being held back by responsibility, by fear, by the voices in your head saying, "It's too late"? Try closing your eyes, and ask, if my father were still here, what would he advise me to do? And you will hear, very softly, but clear enough, "Just go, I am right behind you." And like a miracle, the magician appears. A special card. A powerful image. One who can turn thought into reality. Transform ideas into action. Turn dreams into a tangible life. But the most beautiful part is, the magician is not alone. Beside him is the Ace of Wands, the first flame, the spark of beginning, the pure source of inspiration. Together, they form a sacred message. You don't need someone else to hand you a miracle. You are the miracle. And this, you've known since you were little, but life made you forget. Your father, the one who once lifted you onto his shoulders, who once steadied your bike as you learned to ride, is now reminding you. You still have that energy. Don't wait for someone else. Begin. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. Is there something you once loved, but let go of? A passion? A path? A longing pushed aside by the weight of life? Are you ready to light that flame again, not to prove something to anyone, but simply to live a life with no regrets? Your father, if he could speak, would whisper, "I don't need you to be perfect. I just want you to be happy. And if you listen deeply, you'll feel an invisible hand resting gently on your shoulder, warm and steady. Before closing this part, pause for a moment, and ask yourself, if my father were truly here, what would I say to him? That I've kept in my heart all these years? If I could start over today, simply because he believed in me, what would I do differently? And if I truly held a miracle in my hands, would I have the courage to use it? Write down whatever you're feeling, right now. Even if it's just one sentence, I miss you, Dad. Even if it's just a small dream. Even if it's just one promise, I'll live better, not just for me, but for you too. Sagittarius, there is a moment we will all experience. One day, you wake up and realize, someone familiar is no longer here. No longer in the home you once lived in. No longer sitting at the breakfast table. No longer standing by the door waiting for you to come home. And then you realize, a part of you quietly left with them. Maybe that person is your father. Maybe that's the figure you always felt you didn't fully understand, didn't hug tightly enough, didn't thank in time. And that loss, no matter how many years go by, never really fades. Today, the chariot appears, not as a vehicle racing forward, but as an image of a final journey. A trip that needs no luggage, no farewells, but carries a clear purpose. To carry the soul to a place of safety, where light and peace await. If your father has passed from this life, know that his journey was never aimless. It was guided, it was protected, and along that path, he has never stopped watching over you. Every road you've taken, every stumble, every quiet moment of heartache, he has known. He just no longer shows himself the same way. But his presence has never left. It only changed form. Maybe it's the old jacket you've kept, even though it's worn at the sleeves. The cup of tea you still pour for him each day, though no one drinks it. The voice that drifts through your dreams, where you're still called by your childhood name. In his familiar tone. The chariot is not only about his journey. It is about your journey, too, when you are invited to leave the old behind, the pain, the regrets, the unfinished stories, and walk towards something lighter, brighter, safer. And that's when the Six of Swords appears. A boat. A river. A quiet rower. And a passenger who sits still, not looking back. That is the image you've carried inside for a long time. You know what you need to leave. A memory. A person who is no longer here. An old self who once lived only to meet someone else's expectations. But it's hard, isn't it? Hard to let go of a habit that once gave you comfort. Hard to part from familiar sorrow. Hard to release the image of who you were, in your late father's eyes. The one you always wanted to make proud. But the Six of Swords does not come to force you to abandon anything. It comes to carry you across. Through the deep waters of emotion. Through the shadows of your past. Through the words left unspoken. And the most beautiful truth is, your father is the one rowing that boat. He doesn't say much. He just looks at you, with the same eyes that once watched over you when you were small. He understands that for you to move forward, he must be the one to step back. That is the love of a true father. Not one who holds you back for his sake, but one who gives his whole soul to guide you somewhere more peaceful. Are you in a season where it feels like everything familiar is slipping away from you? Where the things you used to rely on no longer fit, but you're also unsure of where you're headed next? If so, the Six of Swords brings this message. Don't be afraid. You are not alone. And you are being carried toward a new shore. And at the end of that journey, the Ace of Cups appears, like a cup of pure water handed to you. Not by the world. Not by a stranger. But by your father, the one who has always been waiting for you. The Ace of Cups is a symbol of pure love, unconditional and free from demands. It is an invitation to begin again. From the heart. No more carrying burdens. No more pretending to be strong. No more living to fulfill someone else's image of who you should be. This is the first time, after everything, that you can truly love yourself, the way your father once loved you. Not loudly. Not with pressure. Not with the question, what have you achieved? Just with one truth. You are alive, and I am still here. Do you dare to receive that kind of love, not through a physical form, but through every breeze, every heartbeat, every dream soft as breath? Have you ever cried alone, then wiped your tears like nothing happened? Have you ever looked up at the sky and asked, "Dad, do you still remember me?" Have you ever wished you could hear that voice one more time? If you have, then the Ace of Cups is your answer. It's the hug you always longed for. The Sunday dinner that never happened. The message. You are already whole. Live fully. Because that is how you keep me alive in your world. Before we end this part, close your eyes and imagine yourself sitting beside the water. Someone walks up quietly, places a hand on your shoulder. Says nothing. Just sits with you. And you know, it is your father. You don't have to ask anything. You don't have to explain. Because he understands everything. Is there something you still want to say to your father, but never dared to? Is there something you want to start again, but haven't found the courage for yet? Write it down, right below. Because when you write, it's how you call that love back again. And somewhere out there, he is smiling. Sagittarius, every journey comes to a final chapter. But some endings are not to close things, they are meant to open new beginnings. Some goodbyes are not a loss, but a passing of the torch. And some people, when they leave this world, do not truly vanish, but become the light that guides those who remain. Today, the Justice card appears, not to judge. Not to review what you have or haven't done. But to restore balance to all that once felt lost. To say, all that you have endured in silence is seen by heaven. Every unrecognized sacrifice, every unseen wound, every night you forced yourself to stay strong, all of it matters. If you've ever felt wronged, misunderstood, unloved, or burdened by what was never yours to carry, then today, your Father from heaven sends a clear message. Justice does not come from the world. Justice comes from the eyes of God, and I see you. You no longer need to prove anything. You don't need to stretch yourself to be worthy of someone else. Because in your Father's eyes, you have always been enough. Enough love. Enough strength. Enough goodness. And when your heart begins to believe that, the sun appears. The card of light. Of healing. Of the kind of joy so pure, you thought it was gone forever. This is the moment you lift your head, no longer afraid. No longer hiding. No longer bowing under the weight of what used to be. You step forward, whole again, like the child you once were beside your father. Light. Innocent. Free. Do you remember the feeling of sitting behind your father on a bicycle? The wind running through your hair. Not needing to know where you were going, only that he was taking you there? Today, the sun is not just a symbol of joy. It is rebirth. It is light shining into the deepest corners of your soul, where you've hidden pain, believing no one would understand. Your Father understands. And he is using that very light to warm the parts of you the world made you forget. If you're smiling less than you used to. If you're living more for responsibility than for passion. If it feels like you've dropped pieces of yourself somewhere along the path of growing up, then let the sun lead you back. Back to the child who used to laugh out loud just because a leaf flew by. Back to the one who believed they could do anything because Dad said so. And now, when everything has been brought into the light, When everything has been restored, the world appears to close the circle. The final card. The card of completion. There's nothing left unfinished. Nothing left behind. Only a soul that has walked through pain, learned its lessons, and is now ready to live with all its light. You may not have held your father's hand one last time. Maybe you never got to say, "I'm sorry," or "thank you." But the world is not just an ending. It is a new beginning, with deeper awareness. Your father does not need a grand funeral. He does not need hurried incense. What he needs is for you to continue living fully, brightly, lovingly, so neither of you carries regret. So right now, I invite you to do something simple. Take a deep breath and whisper, "Dad, I will live." Not just to survive, but to shine, because you always believed I could. Before we close this journey, ask yourself, gently, is there something I've been putting off because I think I'm not good enough yet? Is there a part of me still living from fear, not love? If my father could see me every day, would he be proud of how I'm living? If any emotion stirred in you, let it be written right below. A message to your father. A commitment to yourself. A dream you once buried. Because when you write it, you are opening the door for healing to enter. Thank you, Sagittarius, for allowing this journey to unfold. Thank you for not closing your heart, even if you've been hurt before. And thank you, because in your eyes today, I see the light of someone who has lost a father, but has never lost the love of a father.